Welcome, everyone, to ITD Gaming Appetizers. On this episode, we're going to talk about Xbox and Seagate reveal some new storage options for the Xbox Series X and S. And meh. So they released some information on the 512 gigabyte and the 2 terabyte expansion cards. I'm not impressed. That's all I can really say. We already had the 1 terabyte drive. It's been around for, we've known it's been out for a while, and prices have been pretty steady at around $219, $220. You can catch it on sale for $199 every now and then and such. So 1 terabyte at that. The 512 is $139.99. Come on, it should have been less than that. And then if you want 2 terabytes, I'm sorry, but you might as well just buy a new Xbox because it's $399.99. You just need to buy 2 Xbox Series X's because you're going to spend a little bit more, but you just rotate them out. This one's full. You might want to play some of those games. You just move them over to your other side. You play it, you load that one up, and then you just swap them out, It would be cheaper almost in the long run, I think. I don't know who they're kidding. I'm not paying $400 for a 2 terabyte storage expansion. It's just not happening. I would have a hard time paying $220 for 1 terabyte expansion myself. I'm thinking like $150 to $100, but $200 is a little bit pricey for me to add an extra terabyte to storage. New games are coming out and they're on average 80 to 100, 110 gigs on average on new game size for these new AAA titles. So I mean, the Mic and the Xbox has about 805, I think, usable gigabytes of storage when you first get it. So right out of the box, 805. It's a 1 terabyte drive, but a little under 200 terabytes of it, or 200 gigabytes, excuse me, is used for system usage and system storage. So, you get a 1 terabyte drive, 200 gigs of it's basically 200 gigs of it's used for the system. So I find that I do uninstall and reinstall a lot, but I have gigabit internet, so it's not too bad. But at times I'm like, I just want to play this and I'm going to have to install this and run away for 10 or 15 minutes or something, but still that's priced outside of my range. And I'm not willing to spend $140 on 512 gigabytes increase. Nick, do any of these sound appetizing to you? Are these easy pills for you to swallow?
No, not that price. I mean, even the 1 terabyte was pricey when it first came out. And so we were hoping for these drives to eventually go down. I suspect at some point they will, but right now, I mean, $500 or $400 for a 2 terabyte expansion drive, that's ridiculous. You can buy it. That's more expensive than the Xbox Series S. So, and even for the 512, it's, 139, I think, for that one. So that's still pricey. It is easier with these for most consumers because they are plug and play, right? You just got the slot in the back, you plug it in, and there you go. Whereas the PlayStation 5 is a little bit more, you gotta open the system up and everything like that. It's got a little bit more handiwork behind it, but with that, you do have certain SD drives, NVMe drives that you have to use in the PlayStation 5, but they have a lot more selection. So that's kind of the pros and cons of both options. Microsoft really just needs to get these prices down. They need to be able to. What's really going to get these prices down is having other manufacturers. Right now, it's just Seagate making these. And once they get Western Digital and Corsair and these other PC manufacturers to come out and start making expansion drives for the Xbox, it's really going to drive the price down. Right now, Seagate pretty much has the market on those. But once other people start coming in and making them, then you're going to see those prices drop down. And you can go out and get yourself a Western Digital My Passport or My Passbook or whatever they call them that you can stick in the back of your Xbox, the expansion drive. But until then, we're going to see these high prices. And I agree. I don't know who they're shooting for because I don't know anybody that's going to go out and buy a $400. I mean, sure there will be, but not a lot. I wouldn't think that are going to come out and buy a 2 terabyte, $400 expansion drive.
No, and I know NVMEs are still expensive. I mean, yes, they're expensive. And this thing is proprietary format, but there's got to be some competition. I agree with Nick that because it's just Seagate doing these right now, they could charge whatever they want. As soon as there's some competition in the market and expansion starts getting up there, I would have to imagine it's got to come down. I mean, I'm trying to remember. I put a 1 terabyte NVMe in my machine not too long ago, and I don't think I spent $150 on it, maybe 180 at most. And it's close to the specs that this thing is. So I don't know. I don't get it. It seems like it's priced outside of the consumer price. I mean, I guess if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, we paid $500 for an Xbox Series X. So for $400, you can triple the size of the storage. I don't know. It's still a hard pill to swallow. I'm not swallowing it. I'm not spending $400 to triple that. I'm not spending the $200 to double my storage space because that's, I'm not. And yeah, you can get a Series X or Series S for $300. So $299. You can definitely get an Xbox cheaper than their storage. So if you're throwing a $400 storage chip into a Series S, I need to know why. You should just be buying yourself an X at that point.
Right. And the 512, like, I wouldn't even mess with the 512. There would be no point in buying it. I mean, if you're going to buy an expansion card, at least buy the 1 terabyte. I mean, if you're going to spend that money on that 512, save a little bit more and just get that 1 terabyte because 512 ain't going to give you much. And, I mean, like you were saying, like a lot of games are getting bigger. The new Galaxy Guardians of the Galaxy, they were saying, I was reading, it's 150 gig install. That game's 150 gigs. That's as big as like Call of Duty is, because that's like 150 gig install. So yeah, I mean, these high profile AAA games are getting huge, and I mean, eventually we're going to hit that 2 gig mark on these games. So I mean, it's gotten, you remember back in the day when we were starting to hit that 1 gig mark, and we're like, holy crap, or the I'm sorry, not 1 gig, but the 100 gig mark, and we're like, holy crap, it's getting close to 100 gigs. Now it's 150 is like average now, right, on these AAA titles. Yeah, it's just eventually give it a year or two, and we're getting probably a year, and we're going to get up to that 200 gig.
Right, it's going to be back like in the day when you had to when games started coming on multiple DVDs, and you're like, okay, I got 2, and I got 3, and oh my God, I got 6. And now it's like, okay, hold on, I need to get my spare hard drive so I can install this game. I got 2 hard drives, and the game's half installed on one and half installed on the other before long. Where's the 1 terabyte game? We're waiting. One of these days, there's going to be a 1 terabyte game.
Yeah, one of these days there will be, and I hope it's great.
It better be great. I better not know I'm in a damn video game if it's that damn big. I better be plugging that thing in like the Existence movie, if you ever see that, where they plug the console into their spinal cord. It'd
be like the Matrix.
Yeah, the Matrix. You just plug in, not even know you're in a game. It's like real life. And it's
exactly.
I cannot imagine the fidelity on a 1 terabyte game.
That'd be like a 12x, instead of 4K, 8K, forget all that. That's a 12K game there, or maybe even higher than that. I mean, it'd be insane.
Right. It's like going from an Atari game straight into a Series X game or a PlayStation 5 game. Be like, what is this?
Yeah, playing that on your Atari. Plug it in. You're like, holy crap.
It'd be like, what was the Pitfall? It'd be like if they made a new Pitfall and you played Pitfall on the Atari and then you move over to the new consoles, you're like, why am I playing this?
Right.
We can't even comprehend what a 1 terabyte video game would look like at this thing, but I can't swallow those prices, and I'm not spending $400 on a 2 terabyte. I'm not spending $200 on a 1 terabyte. So I would say that they need to at least probably half each of those prices before I'm buying any one of them. Maybe if if the 2 terabyte came down to $200, I'd be like all about it. $100 a terabyte. I can remember when solid states were that price back when they first started coming out. It's like any new technology. It's super expensive, and I'm sure the chip shortages and stuff like that doesn't help the market any right now. I mean, if anything, it's probably prolonging the life of some of this older hardware, because if I can't build a new computer, the only time I'm replacing my NVMe is if one dies or I have performance issues with one. So, or I'm upgrading to a larger NVMe, which is a small drop in the bucket compared to like new builds that happen every year. But there's not a whole lot of new builds because of chip shortages right now. So,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, like I said before, the main thing is going to be competition. If they start getting competition for these drives from other manufacturers, I think that'll help drive down the price and the chip shortages too. Once that gets worked out.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I agree with Nick. I wouldn't mess around with that $140 512. Just don't go to Starbucks for 2 weeks and you can buy the bigger one. Save that $60 and buy the big one, the 1 terabyte. If you need to buy one, don't mess around with that 512. I don't see anybody justifying the 2 terabyte. Just go for the 1 terabyte if you really need it. If uninstalling, if you have the world's crappiest internet service, I can see you needing to buy some expansions. But, if you live in most of the larger cities in America, you're getting gigabit internet if you're a gamer anyway, like we have. So you're going to be swapping that out. I mean, what does it take? It takes me probably 10 minutes to install a pretty large game anymore over the internet, maybe half an hour if it's really popular, huge. If it's Warzone, it's like 30 minutes, something that's that 150, 180 gigs.
So. Right, exactly. Yeah, it doesn't take long with the gigabit internet. So,
yeah, just don't get that instant gratification, right? You just don't get to fire it up and you pick up on your quick resume. So, yeah. Because, I mean, really, this is the first year we have to deal with this, right? I mean, in previous console generations, you could just plug in like you said, a Western Digital My Passport, whatever they call those things, just plug one of those in your console and you got a terabyte of additional storage for $250 or whatever it was back in the day, so now you have these NVMEs, and Microsoft went the toolless option and Sony went for the non-toolless the version where you have to tear it open and do it, which to each their own, right? I mean, if you're tech savvy, you're going to do it. If you're not, you'll probably end up paying somebody money to do it, which is bad because they're probably going to charge you $25 to $50 to do something that takes all of a couple of seconds to pop it open, pop out the plug in the new one, and and screw it down. So, I don't get it, but I don't make the prices, so I'm not buying it.
Yeah, me neither. I'm not buying it. I mean, like you said, if it went down, if it was $200, I would definitely be like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe I'll get that 2 terabyte, because that's not bad. But at $400, no, I'm out.
Yeah, me too. I don't need that storage that bad. I'll spend my $400 on something else, like multiple, quite a few years of Game Pass or quite a few subscription services, PlayStation Now or Plus. So, all right. Anything else you got for this one, Nick? Before we throw that SSD out the window?
No, we need to see more competition and that chip shortage to go away so we can get our stuff.
Right. Yep. We need that storage. All right. Let us know. Are you going to buy one of these? Can you afford to buy a 2 terabyte one? Maybe you've got money to use as toilet paper. I don't know. If you do, let us know. I could use a little bit myself, so let us know if you're going to buy one of these, because I'm not. Let us know in comments, make sure you like and subscribe, hit that bell for notifications so you can see all the videos we put out every week. We put out 4 news topics and 1 game review every week. So keep up with what we're doing and like and subscribe that stuff so we can keep doing it. We hope you enjoyed this episode and we hope to catch you in the next one.